Chapter 581, Gap. Upon witnessing the descent of the thick bluish-green vines, Lumion marveled as if a real carriage could traverse their expanse. It felt like a journey back to a scene from a few years ago when he would listen to his sister's nighttime fairy tales. The dazzling, dreamlike scene and boundless imagination seemed to materialize in reality at that very moment. Ultraman Lotto, Gyro sensed imminent danger. The individual capable of such an effect couldn't be a low or mid-sequence beyonder. They had to be a saint who had unlocked the door to godhood. Perhaps even beyond sequence 4. Another formidable demigod had entered the scene. Who could it be? Where had they emerged from? This certainly wasn't Gandalf. While others might be unaware, Loki had thoroughly investigated the president of the Curly-Haired Baboons Research Society, discovering he was a beyonder of the warrior pathway, a warrior who had a penchant for research and mysticism. In the blink of an eye, Lotto Gyro spotted a black shadow racing down the thick green vines. It was an enormous pumpkin drawn by numerous gray mice. A hole atop the orange pumpkin resembled a coach. Within, a vaguely discernible woman sat, adorned in a purple robe, with crystalline heels adorning her feet. A pumpkin coach, mice-drawn carriage, crystal heels, what the fuck is that? Who could it be? Lotto Gyro's pupils dilated, and he couldn't help but inwardly curse with the same words he used most frequently before transmigration. Isn't that Cinderella? Did Roselle actually pen this fairy tale? Why hadn't it gained traction, remaining unknown to most? For a fleeting moment, Lotto Gyro grappled with uncertainty, unable to discern whether the newcomer was a demigod aligned with another faction or a concealed powerhouse within the Curly-Haired Baboons Research Society. Regaining his composure, he cursed his ill fortune and prepared himself for a confrontation with the enigmatic demigod. Luckily, being the governor of the sea, he could at least temporarily impede the other party in these aquatic surroundings. Prior to the impending clash, Ultraman Lotto Gyro turned his gaze towards Mad Lady. He didn't have time to speak, but his eyes expressed the unspoken message. Hurry up, no time for games. Mad Lady swiftly grasped Ultraman's urgency and, with a blink, positioned herself at the entrance of the energy passageway. However, instead of materializing precisely there, she outlined her presence. This decision was prompted by the sudden appearance of Mr. K and Lumion, seemingly having teleported nearby, with their sights set on the energy passageway's entrance. Splash! Whether from the imposing weight of the humanoid sealed artifact or Lotto Gyro raising his right arm, conjuring a mountainous azure wave, the water around the cave visibly swayed, teetering on the brink of collapse. In that critical moment, Cinderella, seated in the pumpkin carriage, pushed open the door and rose to her feet. She extended her arms, and a massive iron-black cross materialized behind her. The weight of the cross proved challenging for Cinderella to bear, as though it carried the concentrated sins of the entire world. Across, Ultraman Lotto Gyro was caught off guard as an empty room materialized before him. Within the room, candlelight flickered, revealing a long table adorned with flesh and blood. On either side of the table, 3 obscure figures hunched over, gnawing and feasting on a gruesome banquet. Abruptly, the 3 figures turned their heads, fixing their gaze upon Lotto Gyro. He stood frozen, as if their gazes had penetrated his deepest secrets, dismantling them into the essential components of spirit and flesh. A chilling sensation surged from the depths of Lotto Gyro's heart, immediately alerting him to an intense and terrifying malice. However, the source of this malevolence wasn't the newly arrived demigod, but the silver-gray behemoth trapped at the sea's bottom. The very spaceship Lotto Gyro sought to obtain harbored ill intentions towards him. In the blink of an eye, the silver-gray behemoth retracted its authority. Lotto Gyro's status as the governor of the sea plummeted. Despite gaining a new boon, he couldn't ascend to the demigod level. The spaceship had betrayed him. This treachery was a result of the spell Cinderella had just unleashed, the Feast of Betrayal. Its purpose was to temporarily awaken or bestow intelligence on a target item, compelling it to commit an act of betrayal. Lotto Gyro had seamlessly melded with the surrounding waters, harnessing the authority of the governor of the sea on a temporary basis. The spaceship now stood as an entity he had yet to fully master. Objects beyond his full control were prime candidates for betrayal. Cinderella astutely sensed this vulnerability, initiating the feast of betrayal from the outset. Simultaneously, the sealed environment provided the perfect conditions for her to unleash this magic, an act she might not dare attempt elsewhere. In that moment, surprise and fear flooded Lotto Gyro. It felt as though a frigid cascade had drenched him, sending shivers through his entire being. Since merging with the sea and gaining the governor of the sea's authority, Lotto Gyro had believed that ordinary sequence 4 or even sequence 3 demigods, commonly referred to as saints, swiftly overpower him in this realm. This belief created a sense of parity, but it hinged on him remaining within the waters to fully unleash his strength. Yet, Cinderella's mere magic stripped him of the governor of the sea's authority, relegating him to sequence 5. Without godhood, mastery over the sea slipped from his grasp. Despite being a dual sequence 5 of a potion and boon system with numerous unique abilities, Lotto Gyro harbored doubts about facing a genuine demigod. A demigod temporarily shaped from an item proves fragile in the face of a true demigod. So brittle that, once targeted, they wouldn't endure even a breath. Lotto Gyro grappled with the stark realization of the fragility of a true demigod and sank into deep regret and despair. At that moment, the silver-gray behemoth trembled violently, causing the energy passageway at the entrance to flicker and cast its luminance upon Lotto Gyro. With a whoosh, Lotto Gyro found himself hurtling uncontrollably into the spaceship through the pure energy conduit. This was a facet of the spaceship's calculated betrayal, aiming to turn the recent authority holder into a mere nutritive substrate within a petri dish. Lotto Gyro was initially startled, but soon a wave of joy washed over him. An opportunity had presented itself. It allowed him to infiltrate the spaceship, wrest control, and set it in motion. A chance to escape. His misfortune and despair had suddenly transformed into this golden opportunity. Observing the unfolding scene, Lumion wasted no time. He employed spirit world traversal once more, reaching the entrance of the energy passageway. Stepping in, he soared into the silver-gray behemoth. Mad Lady trailed closely behind, and Mr. K didn't intervene. Instead, he followed suit. Milo Village, governor of the sea's residence. Bard, strategizing an escape plan, was abruptly interrupted by cheers. Cheers, Bard's heart stirred, prompting him to dash out of the servants' room towards the nearest glass window overlooking the dock. There, he observed the gathered villagers. Not a single sea spawn hindered the former governor of the sea during this process. Many villagers raised their hands, seemingly welcoming the waves. As they praised the sea, an almost invisible glow descended, dispersing like water to different individuals. The nearby children joyfully shouted, "The sea prayer ritual has succeeded. The sea prayer ritual has succeeded." "That's right, it has succeeded," Bard smiled. "From the looks of it, Ultraman and Mad Lady have succeeded." The April Fool's key member adjusted the collar of his crisp white shirt and hoisted a brown backpack onto his shoulders. With an unabashed smile, he strolled into the grand hall of the governor of the sea's residence, smoothly making his way out. This time, he encountered no resistance. The guards stationed at the entrance knelt on the ground, expressing gratitude to the sea for its boon. Bard took a detour to the docks, reveling in the genuine joy and praise for the sea. Every time he heard the townsfolk praising the sea and witnessed genuine smiles, his spirits lifted. These fools. They are treating a catastrophe as a cause for celebration. This is a prank on everyone in Port Santa. Bard closed his eyes in satisfaction and weaved through the crowd, heading deeper into Milo Village. His ultimate destination, the peaks of the Peary's mountain range. As a former swindler, Bard orchestrated the Sea Prayer ritual operation, serving as its main planner. The plan's success naturally brought him satisfaction. Crucially, despite taking the most pivotal step in the entire operation, he assumed the least risk and exposure, avoiding direct confrontations. Navigating through the mix of ancient and modern structures in Milo Village, Bard's brow furrowed slightly. A sense of unease settled upon him. Per the initial plan, Ultraman, unhindered by strong opposition, was supposed to use the second command to open the energy passageway. Relying on his temporary authority as the governor of the sea, he aimed to secure safety for himself and Mad Lady within him. Seizing the opportunity, he planned to eliminate all present and inflict severe injuries on potential demigod adversaries. If powerhouses like Hela emerged and proved resistant to the humanoid sealed artifact, Ultraman, the interim governor of the sea, would leap into action, confronting the formidable foes head-on. Mad Lady, wielding her enchanted ring, would harness the potent energy emanating from the spaceship, transforming it into a boon for everyone present, extending its reach to all the children of the sea in Port Santa's vicinity. This strategic move not only allowed them to sidestep danger, but also granted them access to the spaceship, enabling them to activate it. Despite the fact that the people had already received the sea's boon and a few minutes had elapsed, the spaceship remained dormant, and the sky showed no signs of change. What had transpired during this interval? With this lingering question, Bard hastened his steps. Tap, tap, tap. Behind him, the faint sound of light footsteps echoed once again.